Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Dungeon Masters Dojo podcast. This is a show for game masters and players alike. We hope to bring you tips and tricks to elevate your game and develop the art of dungeon mastery. I'm your host, Louis Aponte, and these are your dungeon masters, Scott Labby and Bill Robotile. Let's enter the dojo and see what they have in store for us today. Good evening, gentlemen.
Hello, Louis.
How are you?
Hello, Scott.
This is the first one we've done after the holidays.
Yeah, it was a bit of a stretch.
It is, now that I think about it. That's why I had to reset everything, because I only use this for work sometimes.
Yeah, all the numbers don't match anymore.
So I'm pretty excited because we get a D&D movie in March.
Sweet.
Yep. And
Your boy Chris Pine.
that's right. Chris Pine, big fan of his father who was in Chips. I know our resident Poncherello lookalike is familiar with Chips.
I've watched it once or twice.
Yeah. He was in front of that TV.
I could never stand that program.
Every Sunday night waiting for that highway pileup to happen that opened up every episode of Chips.
Yep, I had the glasses too.
Yep, but yeah. I had the action figures and they had the motorcycles. That was back when action figures were cool.
Lou had the insanely tight pants, too.
And the hair.
He's still wearing them.
and
the hair.
It's frightening. And the hair. Yep, Bruce Jenner was on it. As I don't know if people know who Bruce Jenner is now because Caitlyn Jenner's like the celebrity.
There's probably younger people that have no idea
who Bruce Jenner, Olympic gold medalist. So yeah, he was on Chips too. I think he replaced John.
I think so.
Larry Wilcox for a while. That was back when they were replacing everybody with like semi lookalikes, like Vance and Coy on Dukes of Hazzard.
That was another good show.
Yeah, that was good. But the Bo and Luke apparently wanted more money, and they were like, "See ya. We'll get another blonde guy and another brunette guy."
I just wanted to see.
Weren't they supposedly cousins or something like that?
Yeah,
they're the cousins, but they ended up with the General Lee anyways.
Yeah, like they'd just be like giving up that car. Yeah, everybody tuned in for Daisy Duke. Was it Catherine Bach?
Yep.
Yeah.
In her
Daisy
shorts. Yeah. Look it up. For those of you that refer to your shorts as Daisy Dukes, look up the originator of the Daisy Dukes. Daisy Duke. And now you'll know why Dukes of Hazzard was one of the most popular primetime TV shows.
Between Farrah Fawcett and her poster and the Daisy Dukes.
Yes. Daisy.
Many a boy made it through puberty.
Yes. I had quite the poster collection. Farrah Fawcett and Catherine Bach were amongst.
Catherine Bach, yeah.
Aaron Gray.
Aaron Gray from Buck Rogers,
Yep.
Yes.
Raquel Welch.
Yep.
Yeah, she was still gorgeous, well into her elderly years.
Wonder Woman.
Linda Carter.
Yep.
Linda Carter, who is still a babe and was the original Wonder Woman, Linda Carter.
Mm-hmm.
Who I don't know if she was the original one. I think Kathy Lee Crosby was. And she looked nothing like it because Kathy Lee Crosby was like short and blonde. And she had a mini skirt, which I guess Wonder Woman did back in the day. But
all the superheroes were horrid by today's standard. I mean, the original Spider-Man, the original Captain America.
Yeah.
Reb Brown, he didn't even have a mask. I'm like, come on, man. And his shield was see-through. He used it as a windshield for his motorcycle.
Yes.
That was dumb. And yeah, Nicholas Hammond was the TV Spider-Man.
Yep.
Who was supposed to be playing the young, plucky Peter Parker, but the guy I think was like 40 at the time.
Say like 38, 40.
Yeah. He was like way too old to be like a junior photographer at the Daily Bugle or wherever it was.
The Bugle.
Well, it wasn't half bad as, Bruce Wayne's ward, who was 25 years old instead of a teenager. So
Yeah.
Golly gee, Batman.
Yeah. And apparently was so hung they had to tape his genitalia to his belly button or some ridiculous thing because it was offensive to 60s television. The outfit he wore wasn't offensive.
No, of course not. Because back then, all the superheroes wore their underwear on the outside.
Their
Speedos. So,
and what does that have to do with the new Dungeons and Dragons movie? Absolutely nothing at all.
But we're old men and we digress easy.
Yeah, this is how our conversations go. So back to
That's the rum and coke you've been drinking.
The D&D movie. No, the rum and coke makes it better. I'm able to focus more. That's like my medication.
Give him some more.
So the D&D movie I'm excited for because we get like a big budget movie. Of course, Jeremy Irons isn't going to be in it, like that dreadful movie from the, whatever, was it 90s?
Yeah, I think
that made it
90s.
to the theaters. That was awful. Was it Jeremy Irons? Yeah, I think it was Jeremy Irons, who's awesome.
I'll leave it to you. I don't pay attention to any names of any celebrities at all.
Well, Tom Baker, the Fourth Doctor, was King of the Elves in that, and I thought it was awesome, even though Tom Baker looks nothing like an elf.
Nor did he in the movie.
Nor did he in the movie, even with the pointy. You got to do more than put pointy ears on Tom Baker.
Put some rubber ears on him. Okay, you're an elf.
Yeah, it's Doctor Who with pointy ears. But that was cool. And it's got Michelle Rodriguez in it. I'm a huge Michelle Rodriguez fan. I don't care what Michelle Rodriguez does in any TV show as long as she shows up.
There you go.
I can't tell you anything about any of the Fast and Furious movies other than Michelle Rodriguez was in it. That's the only reason I bought a ticket. I don't even know what she did. She drove a fast car.
She did Resident Evil too.
Yes, she did.
Awesome in Resident Evil.
And
she also an Avatar?
Yeah, she's in Avatar as well.
She was. I thought she died in Avatar. Didn't
No.
helicopter blow up or something?
I don't think so.
Yes.
I thought she lived.
No, she was shot out of the sky.
Yeah. And that sucks. She was in Lost.
Yep, that's right.
She died in that. I was like, okay, that blows. Yeah, huge.
She must be really good at dying.
She must be like the female Sean Bean who dies in everything. That poor guy can't.
Or my characters.
Or your characters.
Who Scott seems to like to kill off on occasion.
Accidentally.
Of course.
Because with Lou's character should have died thousands of times with the ridiculous shit he pulls, but it never happens. Ever.
It's because I have luck on my side.
He's got a fountain of luck on his. I don't understand what it is.
He should have died in our 7-year week-long at the end, but
multiple times.
But at the end, he was spared by his friend Mullif, and
he should have died.
Was left to go on. And was the last of the original crew.
I wasn't spared. I got knocked out.
That's the same thing.
You have no idea the shit he pulls at the table, and I'm like, "Are you sure?"
And everyone else gets blamed. Everyone else dies.
And he's like, "Yep." I said, "Are you sure?" Yep. I'm like, "Okay, roll the dice." And I have this number in my mind, this ridiculous number, and he rolls it. Like if you get a nat 20 on this, he's like, nat 20 with disadvantage, another nat 20. All right, whatever. Bill plans a bunch of shit out. His ass is dead. It's only a matter of time. The clock is ticking on it. So we got a new D&D movie, which is nice. I'm pretty excited about that. Not really kind of cool with the dude shooting blades out of his sword. Did you see that?
I didn't see that trailer.
I think that's a little silly, but I don't know. I haven't seen the movie yet. I like the owl bear thing. I know druids can't wild shape into an owl bear, but let's make a fun movie and enjoy it. How about
artistic
we do that?
License.
That's right. It's got to be a movie. If you want a legit D&D movie, you're going to be sitting there for 3.5 weeks before the table gets together. Because
and one combat's going to be the 3.5-hour movie.
You're going to watch a bunch of nerds sit around and eat pizza and talk about how much work sucks. And then they're going to start gaming with their greasy pizza fingers. And I'll hopped up on Mountain Dew, and it's not going to be a fun movie at all. So let them take some artistic license. We haven't weighed in on this drama with Wizards of the Coast, mostly because we're like, does anybody give a shit what we think?
No,
probably not.
Maybe there might be 3.5 people.
Yeah, 3 of whom are present.
I was about to say the same thing.
Yeah,
and someone else who paid us half attention.
Yes, Bill's dog.
Yes, Levi has a vested interest.
Yes, he's waiting for the word treat to come out of someone's mouth. That's the only reason he's paying attention.
Well, he's part hellhound, but we have to check and see whether that's we could use that term anymore.
Yeah, and I think we're all like sitting around with some popcorn, just watching the train wreck unfold. So in case you haven't heard, which is damn near impossible, I think.
Pretty close, yeah.
I think this all started with, was it Hasbro or Wizards of the Coasts?
Well,
Hasbro owns Wizards of the Coast.
Yeah, you got to say it's Hasbro.
It's Hasbro.
So she comes out and says, basically, D&D has under-monetized My first reaction was, do you know how much your goddamn books are? Under monetized.
I don't think they meant by books.
I don't think they did either, because they're like, we need to get more money. These are approaching like textbook costs.
Yeah.
It's
Right.
like going to college.
Yeah, I need a Pell Grant to buy the newest D&D books.
Mom, Dad, can I have $2,000 this semester so I can buy my D&D books?
Yeah, nothing will piss off people more than an evil corporate entity. I mean, let's face it, we're talking D&D stuff here, right? So who's wearing the black armor, with a tattered cloak and getting ready to march down Mount Doom and smite the good people of Middle-earth? What's her nuts? Whoever the lady is that's in charge that made that statement. Poorly worded statement. I think it could have been delivered a little bit better, but I think that's what like kind of started the fire.
Well, that's what people they snapped their head around and went, what?
Yeah, under monetized.
Well, I remember Scott saying that a couple months back, and I was like, for me, I didn't think it was about the books. I thought it was about everything else.
It is primarily about the online gaming and stuff like that, and not necessarily the books themselves, but it was a blanket statement, and let's face it, the blanket statement covers a lot of people who went, what?
And it could mean the books too. I don't know. I'm just going by my assumptions.
Yeah, it was Cynthia Williams who made that statement, and boy, did people get fired up. I know I did.
I know you did too. I had to hear it.
Yeah, I got all fired up because I was like,
I just looked at Lou and go, what the fuck is he talking about?
don't you dare start talking about fleecing the population. And you know who they're targeting, kids, right? It's all that what the hell's that game kids play? Fortnite.
Oh, yeah.
Right, Fortnite. I want a new dance. So you got to buy the dance skin or something like that. And then I want to look like John Wick. And I'm like, you want to look like John? Work out. And they're like, no, I want my guy to look like John Wick. I'm like, John Wick is in Fortnite. Apparently so is like everybody.
Spider-Man's
there. Spider-Man showed up. So they're selling all these skins so you could look like all these people. They're not real. They're make-believe. But your Fortnite person gets to look like them. So I can see that coming. I'm going to, for whatever D&D platform that they're going to put out, that's coming. Skins and all sorts of, because it's looking like a video game. I thought it was a video game when I saw like some pictures of the D&D platform thing.
The
virtual tabletop. Yeah.
It did look good though.
Yeah, it did. I'm like, here we go. What's going to happen is you're going to, not me necessarily, because I could care less about that, but when you're on that virtual tabletop or whatever, and the dude you're playing with, whoever shows up rocking this like sick armor, you're gonna be like, that too. I want some badass armor too. I want like Wizards. How much is that? $25.
Okay,
for a make believe outfit. You don't even get to wear it.
That's innovation right there. What they did.
It is. I don't like it.
Why don't you like it?
Because
it's gonna cost you some money.
No.
Why?
I like sitting at. Just because.
Oh, you don't like? Okay, you don't like virtual tabletop in general.
I like sitting at a table and having a good time with a bunch of people, having a communal meal, listening to the dice roll, laughing, shooting the breeze and stuff. A lot of people can't do that. I get it, So the virtual tabletop is like been good for the
virtual tabletop. Also, I think expanded or helped expand D&D because it got people to play from across. Boundaries,
especially
states,
during
countries.
the pandemic.
Well, that's just it. You had the pandemic. You couldn't get anymore. That was the only platform you had if you wanted to still talk to people. And, granted, it wasn't face-to-face, and for a lot of people, it was like, oh, this is great. For several others, it's like, well, it's better this than nothing. But either way, people are still playing.
Yep.
So that's what they want. That's what they're, and I get it. It's a sound business model. You're going to make money. People are going to do that stuff, right? I buy every single book, even the retail adventures. Am I ever going to use them or run them?
Nope.
Probably not. I haven't run a retail adventure in 30 years, maybe.
Yeah, probably. I don't ever remember either one of you running retail adventers.
I've never run a module.
It was a long time ago. I did the Slavers one, the Saltmarsh trilogy, I think it was, Expedition of Barrier Peaks, The Ruins of Undermountain, Keep on the Borderlands, of course. like Palace of the Silver Princess, all the B modules, the A modules. And but that was when I was like 12, 13, 14, 15.
Well, back then it was still new and fresh too.
Yeah, it was exciting.
You didn't know what to do. It was the new module that just came out. Oh, we're going to play it.
Yeah. And I had a whole binder full of them because they had holes punched in them.
Yeah,
and you could
for
slide
the 3-hole punch
into a big ass binder. But I buy the books anyway. Why? Because
you have a disease.
I have an illness. Yep. And I like to have a complete set, even if I'm going to do nothing with half of it. I don't even read the books a second time. I'll go through them. I'll read them once in bits and pieces and be like, this is cool.
That's as far as it gets.
So there was that, and I think that kind of like started the fervor. And then someone leaked the new open gaming license, and people went nuts.
All hell broke loose.
And yeah, they just went cuckoo. I'm leaving. I quit. That's what I heard.
That's what's happening.
Yeah, they're leaving in droves.
Well, they're bailing from D&D Beyond.
Yep.
Left and right, canceling subscriptions. Yep. They wrote up a letter and sent that.
I saw something that was like 66,000 signatures or something.
Yeah, it was huge.
Nobody asked us.
The masses responded fairly quickly.
Yeah,
quickly.
If the original OGL was what they were going to put out, it was kind of unfair.
It was
because if you just follow the SRD, you don't even need to really use the open gaming license.
Correct.
But a lot of guys, I guess I'm only assuming that they do use bits and pieces, so they knew it was going to cut into their bottom line.
Yeah.
And I know the other thing that got people riled up was Wizard of the Coast made a deal with Kickstarter for 20% royalties off the top. That was confirmed.
Yeah. Well, and they were shooting for 20 to 25% of any company that made over $750,000 right off the top, whether your company made profit or not.
Well, because there is a thing for podcasters and lower, so that would have led them open the door to actually start.
Oh, absolutely. They would have started going off to the little guys.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, they're starting from the top, and and Paizo went ballistic. Well, their immediate response is, "No problem. We'll build our own game engine. We'll build our own system. We're going to give it away for nothing. We're going to give it to a third-party manager, and we're going to write into it where we can't touch it after we give it away."
I think who this OGL hurt a lot was like Critical Role.
Yeah,
I think the other one is Dimension 20.
Yep.
Because those are some of the big guys.
Yeah, huge guys. Yeah.
And then everybody that did great on their Kickstarters, the Dungeon Dudes.
Yep.
Last year they did 2 Kickstarters and each reached $1 million.
Yeah.
The thing that really pissed me off was it's like, yeah, I mean, you're going after these people. They're making money. And they put forth the effort to do it. It's not like they were just sitting around doing that, but they were been giving you free advertising.
I was going to say they're actually what's keeping, and this is just my take, but they are what's inspiring or keeping the D&D community going.
I agree with you.
Because they're the ones who are putting out, we'll use Jimmy from the Splinterverse, and we use his last book, the Dragonlance Companion, which was a much better version of the Dragonlance book that Wizard of the Coast put out.
Yeah,
it was. It
By
is.
leaps and bounds.
It is.
Yep.
But that's what I'm saying. So these companies are what's keeping Dungeons and Dragons alive,
afloat. Yeah,
I won't say afloat, but they're making it more.
Alive. Well,
it's accessible.
Yes, more accessible.
You have Critical Role. All those people on that cast, they're like the D&D rock stars, right? So young DMs want to be like Matt Mercer.
Yep.
Right. And it's got handsome guys, pretty girls, diverse cast. They're doing really well. They're professional actors. They're building their brand, and people watch it and they like it, and that's how D&D looks. Wow, that's pretty cool the way that they portray D&D. So people go out and they buy those books. They're invested in D&D, and people like the Dungeon Dudes who are normal everyday people. It's like, oh, normal everyday people can do this thing with their hobby and make money and pay their bills and stuff. That's awesome. Let's support these these people like, Nerdarchy, normal run-of-the-mill guys making some money off of the hobby. They're, no one's at that competition level with Hasbro.
A $1 billion company.
Yeah. What are you worried about?
Yeah.
But it's a money grab. It's a greedy corporate money grab.
It's greedy because there's a couple things that they had in their latest OGL, which I understood, they want to protect some of their IP.
And that's understandable.
That's understandable. But then they said, they don't want to make sure people are doing NFTs, but yet Hasbro is doing NFTs already. They're doing it with, I think, the Power Rangers and somebody else.
Explain the NFTs for those that may not know the abbreviation.
It's really
like
hard.
Myself.
The easiest way to explain is to look it up in a dictionary or Google's. No.
My grandfather used to say that shit to me all the time.
I believe it stands for non-fungible transaction. So you could buy a digital item, a one-of-a-kind item, and it becomes a little bit more valuable. It's like, to me, it's like Bitcoin in a way.
Mm-hmm.
So you buy these NFTs, you could turn around and sell them. So I can make NFTs of certain D&D compatible creatures or spells or whatever, and say I'm selling these are one of a kind. You can use them in your whatever, or you can just keep them and sell them, and they become more valuable as because there's not really many. They don't put out too many of these NFTs. At least that's how I understand it. So it's like virtual items,
virtual artifacts.
Yes, thank you. That's how I understand it, and that could be totally wrong, but from the little bit I know, that's what exactly it is. Let's take a moment to talk about our sponsor.
You're a new DM who wants to jump behind the screen. Maybe you've been volunteered by your gaming group, but aren't quite ready. You've been watching people play games online or on podcasts, and you're thinking to yourself, where do they come up with all that descriptive narrative? There's no way I can do that. Well, don't worry. We've got a solution for you. What if I were to tell you that I can put a team of professional writers alongside you at your desk while you're prepping your game? Sounds pretty good, huh? With Describe, we can do just that. These narratives vividly describe monsters, places, spells, people, you name it. It's there, and there are more than 6,000 of these easy-to-search up, copy, and pastable, beautifully written narratives right at your fingertips. Confidently read these narratives aloud in your campaign and impress noob and veteran gamer alike. And the best thing about it is, the library of narratives is constantly growing, and it's affordable. Describe has graciously provided us with a discount for our listeners. Head on over to describe.com/DMD. That's DSCRYB.com/DMD. Use the code DMD at checkout to try Describe for 2 weeks for free. Links will be in the show notes.
And now, back to the show. But so Hasbro's already doing that. But, Wizards of the Coast says that's not what we want to do. So, that's kind of I'll say a lie there, because if your parent company's doing it, you're going to be doing it.
You're going to be doing it, yeah. Oh, we don't believe in that until no one's looking.
Yeah, and until someone says, yeah, you do.
Yeah.
Do it.
And they've already been called out on it.
Yeah, and I think that with the way that information is so readily accessible, like things can be leaked on the internet. And, people our age are kind of fed up with corporations, and young people have kind of been taught to question authority, which I don't think is a bad thing, and they, so they're not afraid of calling people out on stuff like, and, bravo to all you young people that are okay with doing that stuff, because we were taught to eat our shit sandwiches and, work hard and you'll get everything you want.
Screw that, man. 60s. Stick it to the man.
Yeah. When in reality, if you work hard, you'll work hard.
Harder for nothing.
Yeah, and that's the reality of it. But good for the young people out there, calling out the those evil corporate entities, which I'm sure are like wonderful people and just doing their job, which is horrible. But yeah, that's like really caused a big ruckus. And then they're like retracting their statement and saying, "Oh, so we heard you. We're sorry," but I don't believe them.
We're going to make it better.
I don't
Just
believe
give
them
us a little
either.
bit of time.
There's a couple words in there, when they said they want to protect their IP. Okay, that I can understand, but some of the other stuff I thought was just plain bullshit. I don't have it up on my screen right now. I know Scott does, but it was just they were out for a little bit too much blood, I think, or too much money.
Well, the term I heard that I really like is they become predatory.
Yeah.
They're attacking the people who put all this work into it, and they went, you know something? That's a great idea. We're going to take that because of our licensing, and we're not going to give you any recognition, but we're going to use it and make a lot of money on it. So thank you.
But what they don't realize, at least in what I thought about this whole thing, is what they did is they just made everybody say, screw you. I'm going to create my own system now.
Yeah. Which is, we were talking about this. This is a good thing.
Yeah, it is.
You know, a lot of people that stepped up.
It's reactionary.
Yeah.
And I don't think they're going to like the reaction that is being created, because that's exactly what everyone's going to do. You know something? I'm going to make my own, and I'm not going to use anything.
Yep.
That you have related, because look at that. There's 400 pages of stuff that anyone can use without signing.
And that's from the SRD, I think.
Right, from the SRD,
yes,
yeah.
SRD.
There's 400 pages in the SRD of stuff that I don't have to sign anything to use.
Right.
I just have to ignore that 3/4 of a page on the very beginning of the SRD. As long as I don't use anything there, there's nothing you can do. Oh, well. So that's what they're going to do. Everyone's going to be out there building. Now, great. I mean, we've always been big fans of the indies.
Yep.
We support them a lot, like Jimmy.
Yep.
There's a number of other, like the Rad Hack.
The Rad Hack, yep.
We've supported them and Brass and Steel, and there's a whole slew of indie content creators that we've mentioned over countless episodes.
What's the other one with the superheroes?
Paragons.
Paragons, yes. Paragons and something.
The book's over there somewhere.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. But anyways.
Paragons and Villains, I want to say. I don't think it's right.
Powers and Paragons.
Yeah, it's the book's somewhere amongst the library.
Bill haggled with the owner of the company to get a cheap bastard to get a discount on the books
after you already bought yours.
Yeah, I was like, you fucker. And he then I bought mine too. And he's like, hey, if I buy this one, can I get
the other two?
At like half price. And she goes, no. He's like, why? And then they went back and forth for a while, and he walks out with
all three
books with a smug look on his face. Like,
say, thank you guys.
I paid full price for one book.
You paid full price. Lou paid full price. Going, well, it says, if you buy all three, you get it for this price. But so the difference would be this. And if I bought that book as well, what kind of bargain would you give me for that book as well?
Yeah, because we already bought X amount of books.
Yeah, so he's like, yeah, they bought these two books. Give me a discount on mine because, 2 plus 2 is more than 3.
She looked all starry-eyed, and I just, the silver tongue struck, and bam! It's like, thank you for my books.
This old bastard. I can't believe.
So I mean, that's a good thing about what's going on with the OGL right now. The bad
Powers and Paragons.
Yes, the bad thing I don't like is I've already been starting getting emails saying, "Join us, come over here." I'm like, let the dust settle before I start switching your game. I've probably gotten.
I don't know what army I'm going to join yet.
I probably got, I would say, a half a dozen to a dozen emails already from different vendors that I have subscribed to or something.
Right. Yeah.
I'm like, let the dust settle.
Cobalt Press is doing their own thing.
They're one of the ones who I got an email from already.
Yep. That's
actually, I think I got one today from them.
Yep, I got mine today too.
Yep.
And that's a good thing. I like that.
It is a good thing, but I just don't like all the spam. Let me make my decision when the shit settles.
Yeah. You know what? Maybe we don't. And I didn't get an email, Cobalt Press. What the hell? I buy your stuff all the time. Bill gets it. Bill probably never bought a full price book from you.
Well, that's when you're the chief financial officer of this little thing that we have going. My name's on everything.
Maybe we're going to make our own. How do you like them apples?
Yeah.
But it's not going to have Fancy and Magic in it because that's what I think of Fancy and Magic. I've never liked it.
That's D&D magic for people who don't know.
Yeah. Forgot my spells. Forgot your spells? Really? Just flew right out of your mind.
Well, I mean, just a D4 for hit points. You get hit in the head, you're practically dead. You get hit in the head enough times, you forget your spells. It must be it.
So what's going to become of the big ones like Critical Role and stuff like that?
Well, Critical Role already has their own company too.
Yeah.
So I think they're fine. I think it's some of the other ones that we really need to worry about. And I think it's the small guys, and I'll use like the dungeon dudes. What are they going to do? XP to level 3. They're another one that did a decent Kickstarter. How this is going to affect them now. Because everybody is saying we're going to start playing these different tabletop games now. we're no longer going to be supporting D&D right now.
Providing free marketing for a company that was trying to give us the shaft.
And wasn't there supposed to be a brand new D&D MMO coming out? Or just came out?
I think some of those got canceled already.
That's what I'm saying, yeah.
The only one that is active or is still actively going right now is Baldur's Gate 3.
Right. But how many people are going to bail on that because they're pissed off?
Yep.
Because like I said, there's a mass exodus off of D&D Beyond.
Yeah, because that was one, it was hashtag begone the sub or something. Hashtag begone, and then there was another one that was hashtag sub, lose the sub or something like that.
Yeah, there's a few, But it's like, okay.
Yep.
Personally, I'm gonna sit back and wait and see and let the big boys battle it out and see what's left on the battlefield for carnage. And
well, in doing that is fine. It's sending a message. But what a lot of people don't realize or even know is they already got your money for the year. If you paid for the year,
right?
Yep.
So canceling your sub now, all it's doing is sending a subtle message because they believe you're going to come back.
Oh yeah,
and there probably will be. There's going to be attrition, but people will end up going back.
Well, now there are going to be more choices, so some people may not come back, like you said. But some of us that really grew up on the hobby will say, "Okay, if this OGL that you're going to put out 2.0 corrects everything, I may come back and visit you. You may not have my full attention. I may look elsewhere now." But, that remains to be seen.
Yeah, fool me once, shame on you, fool me twice, shame on me, that sort of thing. What sticks with me is they're like, we heard how upset you are. We're going to change it. We'll see how that's changed, if there's any big changes. But the fact that you were trying to fleece people, and do them dirty, and the only reason you changed it is because you got caught before you got a chance to taxi down the runway. I mean, that's the only reason. It's,
right.
Oh, yeah.
Because they were saying you can't use any of the OGLs because there was the OGL
Correct.
for 3.5 and I believe for 5e.
Yes.
4, I don't think got touched.
No.
Nobody wants to make games with 4th edition.
No.
Or
So
4.5.
Yeah. So they were saying you couldn't use any of those anymore, which is wrong because you already had stated that these were in perpetuity.
Yes.
For forever. So
Well, then I read somewhere that you couldn't like trademark or copyright rules to a game, right? So
Game mechanics.
Yeah, game mechanics.
You can't trademark game mechanics,
Well,
but you can trademark specific parts of it.
yes.
That I think it all boils down to if it has a proper noun associated with the original
That all depends.
SRD.
I do know, like in one of the SRDs, that's how Pathfinder evolved. They took
they just cut and paste a crap load of stuff and just added a little bit to it.
and just added extra abilities onto
Right.
it, which that became there. So you can copy their stuff from the SRD.
But because the SRD is the safe
Right.
zone,
Yep.
right? But they were also, but part of that too is, okay, you use stuff in the SRD, and I think part of it was, gee, that works really well, and you signed the the Open Gaming License, so since you signed it and we liked what you did with our stuff, we're going to use it now. That's huge.
That is very huge.
Because that is applicable to everyone, not just the big boys.
Right.
That's applicable to everyone. Where, boy, those 3 guys at the DMD came up with a phenomenal idea in their system, and they signed our Open Gaming License. Let's pluck that out, and we're going to use that in the next edition we put out. But we're not going to mention them, give them any recognition, and sure shit ain't going to get any money for it.
Right. And that's the sucky. That's one of the sucky parts.
That's one of the parts that really irritates me the most. That's where I think the term predatory comes up the most. Is they can pick and choose, even from the little guys, what they like, and just go, well, since you signed the Open Gaming License, we're gonna keep that, and we're gonna use it for ours. Gee, thank you. Move along.
Yep, that's dirty.
Yep. And that's the part out of the whole thing. That's the part that aggravates me the most. Is the people that, the little guys that have gone out there and busted their ass to create something different. And because they signed the Open Gaming License, Wizards can swoop in and go, that's a really cool idea. Thank you.
Yep.
Please step aside. So I think out of everything, that's the part that there's no way I'm making $750,000 off of anything I'm doing associated with
Nope.
with D&D.
The whole thing is that number was always subject to change.
Oh yeah, it will.
Yep.
And it might go up to 1.5 million. There's still or
I'm
go
saying,
down.
It could go. That's the whole thing. That's what people were very upset about. That number could change lower, let's say down to 50K.
Yeah.
And there was nothing anybody could say or do about it.
Right. It once it opens the door, it's going to be more a floodgate than anything else.
Yep.
Because it's like, oh, you gave us permission to do this. Well, this is what we're going to do next.
Yeah, and it leaves a bad taste in my mouth because it's akin to the rich kid pushing the poor kid down and taking the 2 quarters he has in his pocket, even though he doesn't need them.
No, I'm going to take them because you have them.
Yeah,
not because I need them, but because you have them.
So it's almost shameful.
And this open game license is going to be coming back out. But it was what, 2 days, 3 days when they rescinded it? It was a really short period of time, wasn't it?
What it was, and I think
from the time it was leaked.
Yes, from the time
the time it was drafted, because it was drafted like in December or something like that.
That's one of the other big things. When Wizards of the Coast responded, they said, "Oh, that was a draft," but from what was leaked, there was an NDA with it. So you don't send an NDA with a draft.
Right.
Saying you got to sign this.
Unless it's a final draft.
Exactly, which means it's a binding.
Which means it's done.
Yep. So that's just leaves a bad taste in my mouth.
Which was already sour with all the money grabs that have been being pumped out lately.
Yeah.
But that's to be expected at the end of an edition.
Yes,
because we know we're leaving 5 soon and going to 6.
That's milk every little, and we get it. And
we did it with 2 and all the other ones.
And Scott will still buy every edition, then drop me off one.
Yep.
But it's going to happen. We get that. It's still a pain in the ass, but that leaves a little bit of a bitter taste in your mouth. Then to have this thrown at you,
that's a huge.
And it's like I can see a lot of independent content creators making their own things, pushing it as hard as possible, and the people who really have been truly pissed off by this massive predatory money grab are going to try. That's it. I'm done with Wizard of the Coast. I'm nothing but indies from here on in. I'm going to find one I like, and that's the one I'm going to stick with.
Yeah.
And ultimately, they're going to end up getting kicked in the ass.
Well, I know Scott's maybe you, but I know Scott's been on, looking for other systems to use because he's getting tired of.
Yeah, we both are. Yeah,
the money grab
and the bulk. It's about like when we go away, and I know, you're probably thinking out there after I say this, it's like you can go on D&D Beyond and all the books are digitally there.
But you still got to buy them.
Yes, I'm aware of that.
Yeah,
but you go away and
we bring.
I
have a bag just for my books.
Yeah, I have luggage for my books. I'm packing, and they're like, "What? How long are you gone?" I said, "This is for my clothes, this little one." And
the oversized.
They're
one.
like, "Yeah, what's the big one for?" My D&D books and my stuff, my tackle box of dice, and my DM screens because I have like 4 or 5 of them. And yeah, so it's. I want to downsize a little bit, so I've been looking at other things. I want something that is about, I want to be able to bring everything I need in
a shoebox,
like a laptop bag,
yeah,
or smaller. So I will say, if you're an indie designer out there and you've got a game to promote, give us a call. We'll have you on and we'll talk about your game and send us a copy. We'll take a look at it.
We did that with
we've done it a few times. Yeah.
The Unexplained.
And Brad Uni's game was awesome. We played it.
Yeah.
It was super fun.
It was fun.
I listened. It was
a good time. It was a good time. And Huge Rod Johansson still plugging away at
his
Hybrid.
Then you had the guys from Never Going Home.
I love that game.
Yep.
Matt
that
and
was
Brandon.
so cool.
That is a cool game, and I'm trying to get them to. I'm writing an adventure for Bill to run for them and a couple other people. So
yeah, we came up with a unique idea.
Yeah, if you want to hear that, let us know. It's like a World War I supernatural thriller kind of game, and it's awesome.
Little dark, a lot cool.
Yeah. But these indie games are fantastic. So if you're out there and you're an indie designer, then drop us a line and go on our website, www.thedungeonmastersdojo.com. Send us an email. You can access the email from the front page and say, hey, I'm interested in, you kind of doing a spot on our game, and send us a copy. We'll look at it so that we know what we're talking about. It's rare we do, but we like to do that at least for games, and take a look at it, and then come on and we'll shoot the breeze about it.
When Scott and I go to conventions, more often than not, we're always playing these indie games.
Yeah.
I don't think we almost never play mainline stuff.
No, I haven't played like a D&D game type of thing, or Pathfinder or anything like that.
Oh, I haven't done that in decades.
At a convention. I played at Carnage D&D Adventures League, and I'm like, I want to find out what this is all about. And it's cool because I could take a character and go anywhere and play them.
Yep.
But it wasn't the same. Like the, like league rules and stuff like that. I'm not knocking it, because those are tables that were packed. So there's a lot of people that like Adventures League. And what's the Pathfinder one? Pathfinder Society?
Yes.
Those are packed at every convention I went to. Mm-hmm. But it's just not my cup of tea. But it's a cool concept. I like that. Anywhere you go in the world, if you have your character and he's registered, or she's registered, or they're registered, whoever's registered, you could play that character, and it's legit. And that part's pretty cool. But there's a lot of rules, and I'm not good with rules. I like cinema. I like to make shit up on the fly, according to the situation. I just came from an era before there were a lot of rules. There was like, the rule books were maybe 60 pages.
Yeah.
And you could probably read the entire Dungeon Master's Guide in an afternoon if you were bored, or like a Sunday afternoon if there was nothing on TV.
Or you're grounded.
Or I was grounded. That happened a lot. So,
I think the last time I played a D&D game at a convention was like 1992 or 3.
Yeah, that was
at Gen Con.
For many of our younger listeners. Your parents were 7.
Yeah, it may have been a little while ago, but
yeah. But it's the indie stuff is where it's at.
Yep.
But some of it is very, very good.
Yeah, we did Death is the New Pink. That was pretty cool. I've done Lamentations of the Flame Princess. That was cool. It's a little bizarre. Swords and Sorcerers of Hyperborea.
Yeah, that's another one, yes.
Yep. And that was, I was looking for that all over the place, and I found it at Scott Legault's convention.
Rising Phoenix.
Yeah, Rising Phoenix game, yeah.
And he's got this cool thing where if you run games there, you get like golden phoenixes.
Yep.
And their currency. So it's like, shit, I'm going to run a bunch of games and let's go shop. I'm thinking I'm going to get a button or something like that, because they have this little DM shop in there. And I was like, there's going to be buttons like an Xbox for like 7,000 golden phoenixes.
You know,
I'll
you
be
were
able
at the
to,
arcade where
I'll be able to
tickets.
afford like a pencil or a pen, one of those frustration pencils.
A little troll to stick on the end of your pencil.
A troll, which looks uncomfortable for the troll. But we walk in and I'm like, holy shit, there's dice boxes. Not like
these were
shitty dice boxes, but these were
handcrafted.
I was going to say they're
like wormwood or
I was
something.
about to say
like
that's
that.
what I was going to compare them to.
Yeah.
But they had a
And
couple books that were
tons of
valued at like over $100,
Yeah.
and there were like maybe 10 phoenixes. I can't remember.
Yeah,
Exactly
It was
remember.
really, really inexpensive. It was all donated, which is nice, and the proceeds went to, obviously went to the convention. But yeah, it was really cool. It just gave them a couple, and then they would randomly go around. And Scott was going to your table and hand out a couple gold phoenixes and go, give these to the 2 players you think deserve them.
Yeah. He'd be like, what are you guys playing? Cannibals in Outer Space. Cool, man. Drop a couple on there, give them to your top 2 players. I'm like, awesome.
I still feel sorry for the poor little girl I terrified because that was like one of her triggers was zombies, and here we stuck her with cannibals in outer space, and she's claustrophobic, and there's something like. And we talked to her dad, and he goes, "Yeah, you hit a lot of triggers, but she had a blast."
Well, I had a blast at that when I played with you guys too. At that,
that's
game.
right too. Yeah, you did play that one.
So if you're around in April, go check it out. It's over in Milford, Mass. At the Doubletree in Milford.
Doubletree. Yeah.
It's a good time. It's got a really cool vibe. Scott and the folks that are on the board, I think
committee.
That's what it's a committee. They put a lot of effort into making it super inclusive and just fun.
And all around
diverse.
the whole hotel, the motif, they set stuff up all over the place.
Yeah, it was like a Renaissance fair.
Yeah, inside.
Had a baby with a a gaming convention.
Yep.
Well, that's the whole thing. There was so many different tabletop games. It wasn't just strictly D&D.
Yeah.
And they had panels as well. They had instructional stuff. They had board game sections. I mean, they had a little bit of everything for everybody.
Yeah, that's where to go to try these indie games out.
Absolutely.
Go to these conventions and sit at a table. Oftentimes, it's being run by either one of the designers or one of the people that works directly with the designers.
A contributor of some form. And
because when we did, was it Death is the New Pink?
Death is New Pink, yeah.
The guy who wrote the game came in and was like, "Hey, sorry for the interruption, but I just wanted to thank you guys for playing my game. I hope you really have a good time." And that was kind of cool.
Yeah.
Stopping by and saying hello and thanking people for playing his game, even though it was like we didn't pay anything. It was just this looks like it'd be fun. Let's go check it out. But it was a really nice gesture. So support those if you can. Support those
because it's going to be the wave of the future. Because Wizards of the Coast is shooting himself in the foot and then taking the empty gun and beating themselves in the temple. So
with this OGL, and that's exactly what I think that's the good thing that's going to come out. It's like we said earlier.
Yeah,
a lot of new game systems are going to be coming out
because they rescinded the OGL that was leaked and quickly. But one is definitely going to be coming back out.
Yeah,
they're definitely going to put out, and people aren't going to be happy, no matter how much they try to backpedal. Even if they leave everything exactly alike, just the fact that they tried is going to still piss people off.
It's still people are still going to be upset. So you will see new game systems comes out, and that is probably the best thing.
The silver lining.
Yep, it's gonna it promotes innovation.
Yes,
it opens an ecological niche.
Yep,
and that's good. I think it's phenomenal because when we've had game designers on the show. And is it a show? We could call it a show, right?
I guess so.
Yeah, I suppose so. Whatever. Someone will correct me. Who knows way more than I do. But whenever we've had these folks on that are building games and stuff, we have a Zoom meeting with them, and we're looking at them, and they're like sitting in their home office or the room they play D&D in. They're not sitting in an office with a big window.
Yeah, there's no cubicles.
Really, sterile and boring. They're in their house. They're people like all of us.
There's the bookcases behind them with all their terrain and all their books.
Yeah. So these are folks just like us. Support them. They're doing that thing that many of us would like to do and sharing their passion for the hobby. It doesn't even have to be like a D&D hobby. It could just be the tabletop role-playing game hobby.
Right. And that's the thing is, you can take a taste of a little bit of everybody's because they all give little snippets here and there of how their system runs. So you have a wide range of things to try.
Yeah.
If you're not happy with
it's a buffet
D&D.
line.
Yeah.
And everyone I've tried, everyone I've played at, I have a really good time. Really good time at it. So give it a shot. Support these folks.
Yeah.
So have we spewed enough?
I think we have.
Indie games, good.
Yeah.
Large Dark Evil Empire, bad. Ecological niche. Are you saying that there's like a mass extinction of gaming coming, and that the Wizard of the Coast dinosaur might be extinct?
Maybe. You know what? I think it's going to really deal a heavy blow, at least for the time being, to the dominant life form in the TTRPG world.
I think it'll be more. The people who will be affected are the creators. The players, they got to make their own decision.
Yep.
Good point. Excellent point.
Yeah, because it does. It really, this OGL only affects the people who are creating something.
Right.
So you, whoever you feel like you need to support at the time, need to make that decision.
Yes.
Not that we're trying to sway you at all.
Which we're not. I mean, of course, if someday we start making money, continue to support us.
It's not likely to happen, but it's a nice thought.
There's mortgages to pay, food, electricity,
wives.
Yeah, D&D habit. You had to say wives.
That's the largest drain on my financial.
Scott thought you were picking on him for what
no, for once.
He's like, damn.
No, not wives plural for one person. We all have we all have wives, even though you haven't admitted it. Past or present tense.
All right, we can end this now.
We can end this now. We've
And that's going to conclude this episode. Well, we'll see you next time in the dojo.
One does not simply march.
That's going to conclude this episode. Thanks for tuning in and listening. Please subscribe to the podcast for more great content. If you'd like to hear a particular topic, you can reach us on Facebook at the Dungeon Masters Dojo, or you can drop us an email at thedungeonmastersdojo@gmail.com. Thank you, and have a good day.